Hello everyone, your PF debate teacher here back with another video. Today we're going to be covering a in-depth analysis of weighing in public forum. Again, I posted this video because a lot of videos that I saw online were either really outdated or they didn't really explain the concepts well enough. So stick until the end of the video to actually learn how to effectively weigh because it actually might end up letting you win rounds. So let's first cover what weighing is. Weighing is essentially where you compare your arguments or your main ideas against your opponents. You take your impact or how many people or how much you're affecting and then contrast it to their impact. Sort of like you're trying to convey to the judge why they should buy this sandwich instead of another sandwich. In this case, the judge is trying to buy your argument instead of the opponent's because you affect more people or you benefit more people. That's one type of weighing. Weighing is probably one of the best, if not the best way to convey your ideas to the judge. A lot of judges, especially parent judges, really get stuck between whether to vote for one team or another because people sort of just throw random arguments against one another. Weighing is the best opportunity for a debater to clear up the round, to establish a clear idea towards the judge by writing their ballot for them. You're telling them why your argument matters more, and you're trying to convince them why they should prefer your world over theirs. Okay, now that we covered weighing, what are the types of weighing? Well, the first type of weighing is impact weighing. This is probably the most used type of weighing in public forum, but in my experience as both a national debater and judge, extremely overrated. Essentially, it's a form of weighing where debaters just compare their impacts through solely numbers and statistics, although prerequisite and short circuit weighing, which I'll cover later in the video, are exceptions. Before I give the examples, I'm going to be using the current topic which this video is posted, which is that generative AI has more benefits than harms, so to create the examples for the weighing. This topic is relatively simple to understand because it's current event, so I'm sure that you guys won't have any trouble understanding it. So, the first type of weighing is magnitude and scope weighing. The reason why I combined both of them is because they're essentially the same. That's because magnitude is the severity of the impact, while scope is the reach of the impact. Both of these types of weighing boil down to the same thing, because debaters use them to say why their argument impacts more people than others. One simple example would be that generative AI benefits billions of people around the world compared to the thousands of people that it may negatively impact. Here, you can clearly see that I'm conveying to the judge that I benefit way more people, so they should vote for me. The second type of weighing is time frame weighing. Time frame weighing has two types. Either A, you explain why your impact happens faster, or B, why your impact lasts longer. So, for example, for the first option, if I was pro, I would say that voting for pro is really good because AI is making really good progress right now. And very soon, it's going to have a lot of technological advancements that will improve society compared to Khan's argument, which is that AI has potential future bad effects. What I'm doing here is that I'm explaining to the judge that they should prioritize what's happening right now rather than the future. This type of weighing is good when you want your judge to focus on the short-term impacts, which could be key in rounds where the quickest argument to happen is the best. One example for the second option is that, let's say I was Khan this time. The long-lasting bad effects of generative AI will hurt human progress for centuries because we have to rely too much on them, and any short-term benefits of AI are only temporary. This type of time frame weighing is a lot better because you tell the judge to prioritize the future and the outcome that comes with it. What I'm telling the judge is that they should prefer the centuries of progress that AI will hurt compared to the temporary short-term benefits. The next type of weighing is probability weighing. Now, I don't really like this weighing as much because I do think that even if an argument has a low chance of occurring, it still will have a chance to occur, right? Which means that by weighing this, it doesn't really negate the fact that it's true, right? But for the people who want to persuade their judge with believability, here's an example. If I was pro, I would say that AI taking over the world is never going to happen, and AI improving our lives is a lot more likely because it's doing so right now. Probability weighing always uses historical precedent, which means that you should be using this type of weighing to tell the judge, word for word, If their argument has never happened before, why would you believe them? Probability weighing is not one of the best, but if used effectively, could be good. The next two are going to be a little bit more difficult to explain, but they're really good, so hang on tight. The first is prerequisite weighing. This is where you tell the judge to prioritize your arguments before the opponent's. For example, if I was pro, I would tell the judge to prioritize AI being a learning tool that benefits millions of students over it taking jobs because we should focus on the next generation. Here, I am explicitly telling the judge that they should prioritize the next generation's education over current jobs right now because the judge should care the most about educating children rather than like some people in the workforce, right? Prerequisite weighing is basically just all the previous weighing strategies I talked about, but this time you compare the entirety of the argument rather than just the statistics. The next is short circuit weighing. Short circuit weighing is when you argue that your impact stops your opponent's impacts from happening. For example, if I was Khan, I would argue that AI providing inaccurate information makes AI helping students completely untrue because it only feeds these students false information. That may sound confusing, but here's a really short summary. Basically, what it means is that if I was running the contention that AI provides inaccurate information, it short circuits their contention about how AI helps students. Because if AI only provides false information, it's not going to help students, right? It's going to feed them fake information, which probably decreases their education, right? So this type of weighing is really strong because it creates a one-sided comparison, which favors your arguments a lot. So I would recommend using these types of weighing. Now, before we move on to the next type of weighing, there are two big precautions that you should take into consideration when impact weighing. First, do not fall into the trap of under-explaining or just stating the weighing technique. I've seen so many debaters just say, we outweigh on magnitude, but then never explain why they do. Please clearly explain why you win the weighing to the judge so that they actually know what you're trying to compare rather than just saying the buzzword. Remember, you're trying to write the ballot for the judge, which means that you should be spending the time to explain why you outweigh. Weighing is the best when explained well to the judge. Secondly, do not make confusing or bad weighing like reversibility or urgency. These types of weighing are really bad and should not be used in a round because it's really hard for a judge to understand these types of weighing. So just stick to the basics and you'll be fine. Just remember these common mistakes that debaters make and you'll be ready to master impact weighing. Now, let's get on to link weighing. Link weighing, in my opinion, is the best type of weighing that any debater can use, but it's heavily underutilized. I believe that if you can master this type of weighing in your tournaments, you can start weighing a lot more of your rounds. Essentially, what link weighing is to make overarching connections over between your arguments and their arguments. To be more specific, there's two types of link weighing. The first is that you essentially take their impact. I'll explain more later, but the second is when you supercharge their argument or make it a lot worse. For the first type, what I mean by taking their impact is basically you literally just take their impact. For example, if I was pro arguing that AI is good because it provides students with ideas to assignments, which improves creativity, in comparison to Khan's arguments that AI is bad because it increases cheating, which lowers education for millions of students, I could take their impact of lowering education quality and argue because AI provides ideas to assignments, it improves creativity, which solves for low education quality because we provide innovative solutions for the students, which solves for millions. Here, you can clearly see that I take their impact of how they harm millions of students and argue that by voting for pro, we solve for education quality better. The second type of link weighing, I'll explain about supercharging. For this example, I'll take the last contentions that I did, but this time I'll be Khan. I could use the pro's argument of improving creativity to argue that Actually, what happens is that the providing students with ideas to assignments further lowers education quality because students can't think anymore because they rely on AI ideas. This time, I used one of their own arguments to further my impact or increase the impact of millions of students having low education quality. Remember, sometimes weighing isn't always a clear comparison to that relation, it can always be a connection, which are always the strongest in debate. Judges reward good explaining, and this is one really good skill to master. Finally, let's cover meta-weighing. Meta-weighing is basically comparing weighing. Now, I know that may sound really confusing, but essentially you tell the judge why your weighing is better. Essentially, what that means is that you're explaining to the judge why they should vote on your weighing instead of theirs. I'll give two easy examples. For example, let's first do let's first do short circuit versus magnitude, right? I'll use the AF argument about how AI improves the workforce because it strengthens education, the neg argument of how AI provides inaccurate information. So for short circuit versus magnitude, assume I'm Khan arguing that AI provides inaccurate information. I could say that insofar that the information that generative AI provides is always inaccurate, it doesn't matter if the opponent does magnitude weighing because it will never benefit the students they project, as AI will always feed false information. In fact, their impact only strengthens the con argument because in reality, 70 million students are being fed fake information, which lowers education. Here, I'm telling the judge explicitly why they should prefer short circuit over magnitude weighing, and explaining it really well is key for weighing like this. Next, let's do magnitude versus probability. Assume that we have the same arguments, but I'm pro this time. I could say that because I affect 70 million people, which is way more than the number that the con talks about, I am the biggest impact in the round. Even if the opponents say something like, there's a low chance that we can benefit so many people, I could argue that probability doesn't matter because as long as is there a chance for us to benefit so many people, that means that the judge should always vote for the pro because at the end of the day, we will always have the chance to help a lot of people in need. Remember, meta-weighing relies a lot on explaining. You need to feel comfortable enough to explain and thoroughly warrant out your weighing. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, you should try running impact weighing first, where there's more direct numbers. And that's the end of the lecture. If you stuck until the end of the video, thanks for watching. And remember, you don't instantly learn something just because you watch it. If you have the cases for whatever topic you're debating right now, try practicing link weighing and impact weighing with your own arguments. And it's the best thing to make things stick to your memory. Thank you.